Today you're going to be learning a game called Clock Fractions, and in this game you're going to need, each player, you and your partner are both going to need a recording sheet, and then you need one spinner overlay to share, and you're also going to need several different colors of markers. So first thing you do is decide who's going to be player 1 and player 2. So player 1 starts by spinning the first side over here, and I got 1/2. So first thing I'm going to do is draw 1/2 on my clock, which that one's easy. We know that 1/2 is 30 minutes. New label 1/2. I'm also going to write the beginning of my equation, 1/2 plus, and then I'm going to get a different color marker. I'm going to come over to this side and spin to find out what I'm going to be adding. And I got 1/4. So I'm going to draw 1/4 on my clock, shade it, label 1/4, and finish out my equation. So I see by looking at the clock that 1/2 plus 1/4 is 3/4 of my clock. So then player 2 on their game board is going to do the exact same thing. You spin to find out the first fraction, color it, shade it, label it, do the same thing over here to find out what you're adding. So let's say player 2 went, and now it's my turn again. So I'm going to start over here again, spin it, and I got 3/4. Now, here's the tricky part. I need to finish filling in this clock. So I see that I already have 3/4 shaded in, and if I add on another 3/4, that's going to make I don't have enough room on my clock. So I'm going to need to break that fraction apart. And I can see that 3/4 that I already have shaded in, I need to add on 1/4. So I'm going to need to break this apart, and I would do actually let me get a different color. 3/4 is what I already had, and I'm going to need to break my fraction of 3/4 up here into a 1/4, because that's going to give me a whole, and then I have to come back down here to my next clock and fill in the rest of what I had. So I had 3/4 to begin with, and I filled in 1/4, so I have to fill in 2/4, which if I did that, it's going to be equivalent to half. And I'm going to label 2/4. Then I'm going to keep coming over here, so I'm going to write down what I did. 2/4 plus, and spin, and I got 4/12. So here's where you have to think about, well, what do I know 1/12 is? And I know that 1/12 is going to be equal to 5 minutes. So if I have 4/12, that means 4 times 5 is 20. So I'm going to need to fill in 20 minutes on my clock, because that's 4/12. So I'm going to write plus 4/12, and I said that's 20 minutes, so here's 15, 20 minutes there, label it 4/12, and now I can see that I have, if out of my whole clock, that I have 50 minutes shaded in. So I'm going to write easy 50 over 60, because there's 60 minutes total in a clock, and then I know I can reduce that easily into 5, 6. So then player 2 is going to do the same thing, and then next time I go, I'm probably going to have to break up the fraction again and continue it down here. So when you get down to your last clock, you're going to have to get the exact amount. You cannot go over. So you're going to have to keep spinning to try and get one hole on that last clock. So if you spin and you go over, you're going to lose your turn and your partner gets another shot. So the goal of this game is to get all 3 clocks full the fastest.